I'm just a personal story, but
Yeah.
so we were going to Chicago, and like my husband and I traveled a ton during COVID. It was actually like super fun, but we had to go visit my family for this wedding. And I I'm like, well, you're not going to get into any restaurants. Like, you're not going to get into any bars unless you have a vaccine card. And we were like crafty enough to get a fake one, but still like a little like worried that we'd get in trouble for
Yeah.
that. So, I
Same.
made him go get it. I'm like, well, we have to go out when we get there. And he was like so mad at me. But, we got the stupid card and, went on our merry way and we're fine. But, we just kind of had to play into the system to be able to like participate in society. And that was super frustrating. But, it's like, that's what just like drove me over the moon. It's like this stupid
Yeah.
card became now like our way to get into sporting events on an airplane,
And
to travel.
when did a bouncer, when did a freaking security person at an airport, when did they get the opportunity to see your medical records? That was like
Yeah.
I'm showing a 18-year-old hostess my vaccine card so I can eat at a restaurant.
Yeah. Well, and that's when I was like, we should just have the fake one because they're too stupid to figure it out if it's
Oh.
real or not, because it's just writing on a piece of paper.
Oh, and you can here's a picture of it on my phone. Like,
I mean,
it's
it was
crazy what
so
happened.
nuts. It was just so nuts. But it was a huge test of compliance too, and we all know that now. But yeah, I mean, the lessons learned from this human experiment, we're still kind of unraveling. But, I put my conspiracy hat on sometimes, and, it was a test of compliance. And it was a kind of,
Mass
people comply.
formation psychosis.
Hmm.
Mass formation psychosis. They got everybody so anxious, riled up,
And
and they moved
scared,
us
just
and
scared, like
scared.
scared to death that you're going to die. Or if you don't do this, you're going to kill your grandma. Or, you're going to kill your neighbor with an autoimmune disease. Like that fear-based, propaganda works really well.
A winter of death. Remember that one? We're gonna have
Oh,
a dark winter of death. Okay,
yeah. It was some
it's
dark times.
yeah,
We're
it
still
was.
not
And
out of it, but
I was gonna say I'd like to say we're out of it, but I think that this is something that is gonna take a long time for us to have. And I would just encourage people, like, I don't judge anyone who was scared or who took the vaccine for whatever the reasons were. I don't fault anyone
you can't,
for doing
right?
that. Yeah, you can. I hold no grudges against anybody except the people that did this to us. And I think the best possible outcome would be that we just learn to not let it happen again, because it already happened. And I hope we learned enough to not let it happen again. But I do have concerns that
Oh,
we
I
have
have
not learned
concerns
a
too,
lesson.
big time.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot, there's a lot there. But the mind control is what was, I think, the most interesting that happened. And then just the division. It was us versus them, or the anti-vaxxers against everybody else. The people that didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to wear a mask. It just became this huge divide, and we're still kind of in that divide, and that's a lot of problems, like with our government society. Is it's like it's this or it's that. Well, we
Yep.
can actually be in the middle.
Everybody has nuance. This is what I talk about anytime this comes up. Like, everybody has nuance to them. And I think that the way our media represents everything now is it's two sides and that's it. And it leaves out the nuance that makes every individual human, from like a mental capacity, a physical capacity, a health capacity. It's just crazy. I I th- I don't want to get into any more conspiracies. I'm using air quotes for those
It's
listening.
not conspiracies
Um,
when it's true.
yeah. Well, yeah. And it's funny because like my first ever quote conspiracy was in fourth grade when I was trying to figure out what to write a history paper about. And I decided to write about the JFK assassination
Oh, cool.
because
Yeah.
I was flipping through a book on our bookshelf in our classroom in fifth grade or fourth or fifth grade. I think it was fourth. And I saw a picture of LBJ getting sworn in, and I was naive. I thought the president and vice president were like best friends. And so I saw this picture of Lyndon Johnson. I was like, he doesn't seem sad that his best friend died. And that's where little conspiracy Nick was born, in that moment, where now I question everything. I don't take anything at face value. So I
Well,
hope
that's a
more
sign
people
of
can.
real intelligence because, and it's just asking the questions like, that doesn't seem quite right. And when you ask the right questions, you can get to the bottom of things.
Yeah, exactly. I could talk about this forever with you, but I would like to spend a few minutes at least talking about your book coming out, The Wellness Glitch. It's out on Kindle. It's coming on paperback and hardcover soon. You told me beforehand. Can you tell us about this book, who it's for, and what people can expect about it?
Absolutely. So it's been kind of a passion project of mine, but it's really a book looking at the glitches in our system and why our health is where we're at with our health, where we're at kind of in the matrix of the insurance, big hospital systems. I talk a lot about the obesity epidemic and how we got to where we're at right now. Um, and looking at things from like a historical perspective is a lot of the focus too. It's like, well, we did this and we've got, this is the result, and so that's the glitch, is
Mm-hmm.
fixing fixing the issue, fixing seed oils, fixing the propaganda that we've been fed about a lot of things. And it's very easily digestible. And I geared it towards people that just may not be as knowledgeable and are kind of wondering, they may have this bird on their shoulder that's telling them, hey, this doesn't seem right. And people that start asking the right questions are looking for answers. And that's what, that's kind of how it came about. And I get into a lot of things about, the loneliness epidemic, our, disconnection, the technology that's consuming our lives. I get into a lot about intimacy and kind of where we're at with that. I have like some theories in there that I've proposed about, birth control and, a lot about hormones. And the study in 2002 that came out, it was called the Women's Health Initiative. That's what scared most women into not getting hormones. And then the result of that is, the glitch now is that most, a lot of women that did not do hormone replacement therapy have dementia or Alzheimer's. And the amount of people in young like 60, 65ish, which is young, are just their
Not
memories are
even
gone.
retired.
I know.
Ugh.
It's but the amount of women that are now suffering from dementia that could have been prevented is sickening to me. And I'm just not the type of person that could sit by and let any of these things kind of happen. So I wanted to put a lot of this into writing, to be able to get the message across that there are glitches in our government, there's glitches in our healthcare, there's glitches in our own personal beliefs. And if we don't kind of readjust course and kind of ask the right questions about like, why is this happening, it's just going to get worse and worse. And so I put this together. I don't want to say it's more for average Joe just starting to kind of look at their health, their place in their community, their families, how our society is functioning right now, and being able to make little changes every day to make this world and yourself a better place. And I think that's where it really starts is, you can't be a productive member of society if you feel like crap. And we have so much information coming at us, like the influencer culture. Well, like, take this supplement, do this, have this red light therapy. I mean, it's exhausting. And there's memes
Mm-hmm.
about it too. It's like, well, I got to do all of these things just to feel normal. Well, no, you don't. But, you can start with the small changes to make yourself feel better. And that was really my intention and my goal.
Thank you for listening to this clip from the full episode of Eyes Wide Open. Please like and subscribe for daily clips and new episodes that drop every Tuesday. I appreciate you.